do I think Hadi Chopin was Hadi robbed? Do I think Hadi was robbed? What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over, did Derek Lunsford deserve the win? Because, you know, there are so many people saying robbery and Hadi Chopin deserve the win, this and that. I'm going to be going over that today, letting you know exactly what I think.
Very, very close pose. They both have that very nice taper. When it comes to the arms, Hadi has the better arms. When it comes to the legs, Derek has the better legs. For me, because of the overall size, really, I think there's a little bit of a size difference overall. I gave this pose to Derek by a hair to make it 1 pose to 0.
So I also have the Derek winning the front double bicep. I think his quads were very, very improved at this show. I like his taper better. And stuff like that. You know, I think a weakness for Derek would definitely be the arms. You know, they really lack conditioning, especially compared to Hadi. But overall, I like Derek's taper more, and I think his quads were much improved here. I think they were better than Hadi, so I would definitely give the front double bicep to Derek. But again, very close pose, and I agree with Tyler Mannion just by a hair here.
Because I think the outer arms and shoulders and the chest, how it all flows on Derek compared to Hadi, I think Derek is better there, plus Derek's advantage in the legs. I gave this pose to Derek to make it 2 poses to 0.
And I also agree here, Derek with the better taper. And if you just look at the arms, yeah, I think Hadi's got a little bit more conditioning in the legs and stuff in this pose and in the midsection, stuff like that. But if you just look at the size of the arms, the shoulders, the thickness to the chest, I just think Derek beats Hadi in all these aspects, and he's got the better X frame, the better taper. I'm giving this pose to Derek.
You just see more of that density and mass to Derek's leg, and obviously they're both in very good condition. So for me, again, because of where Derek beats Hadi in this pose, especially throughout, you know, actually both the upper and the lower body, for me, I thought this was a pretty clear pose to Derek to make it 3 poses to 0.
I mean, just look at the side leg. Derek's side leg is absolutely massive in this pose, and yeah, I do think Hadi in the upper body, he's got some more striations in the abdominals, a little bit more in the chest, but overall, I think Derek has slightly more detail in the side of his leg, and his side leg is so much bigger, and I think he's a lot thicker. He carries way more muscle in this pose as well, and you know, he doesn't have as good of conditioning, but he's so much thicker and bigger that I would also give the side chest to Derek.
Size on his legs this time around. You can see he has obviously the detail and the striation to the glutes and the hamstring, but you see that sweep from the quads that come into play to really accentuate the leg width here in Derek from the back. Shoulders solid from the back, not the most overpowering, but solid. Again, arms here, you see he has solid tricep development. So for me, I think this is a very clear pose for Derek. I think he exposes a lot of Hadi's weaknesses here to make it 4 poses to 0.
Back double bicep for me, this pose is absolutely lights out for Derek. I mean, he's winning in the conditioning, in the size, in every aspect, in the back of the legs, the glutes, everything. Derek lights out in this pose.
This is another pose that I think is very, very close. Why? Because, again, the lower body difference, I think Derek has the advantage in the lower body here. However, when we move into the upper body, I think that Derek is not opening up every time that he hits this pose. Pose went back and forth a lot. It really all depended on how Derek was opening up the lats, and I ended up giving this pose to Hadi, definitely because of the width and how he opened up his back to make this 4 poses to 1.
Yeah, I totally agree with Tyler Mannion here. I was there in person, and Derek, he just doesn't open. Like, you can just look at him right here. He's not opening it up all the way, whereas Hadi, he makes his back look so much bigger than Derek's in this pose. And yeah, Derek has the edge in the lower body, but at the end of the day, Hadi is just hitting this pose better. His back looks a lot thicker in this pose. So I would also give this one to Hadi just because, Derek's not hitting it properly. If Derek hit this back lat spread properly, he did it every now and again. There were like 2 times I'm pretty sure he hit it perfectly, and I think he would have won the pose, but Hadi way more consistent with that. I was there in person, so I'd give this back lat spread to Hadi.
Difference in the size of their legs, the density of their legs. So I think Derek has a lower body advantage here. Now, when it comes to the upper body, again, I think that Derek's chest is a little bit thicker than Hadi's. You can see Hadi's striations, though, a little bit more in this pose in the side chest and his backpack. Going to the outer arms and shoulders, again, I feel like the tricep development, the shoulders, just the outer arm in general is a little bit better on Derek's. For me, in this pose, again, because of the lower body advantage and overall size and thickness and roundness, I gave this pose to Derek to make it 5 poses to 1.
And this is where I kind of disagree a little bit. I love Derek Lunsford. I was rooting for him to win this show, and I'm really happy that he did win this show. But for me, anyway, I personally, just taking out who I want to win more and trying to be as impartial as possible, I like Hadi more on this pose. Yes, I can totally see the argument for Tyler giving it to Derek. There's definitely an argument there. But for me personally, I really like Hadi's serratus on this pose, the abs, the conditioning, and the upper body. I really like that. Now, in the lower body, Derek is definitely better than Hadi, and overall, he definitely has more size, so I definitely think there is an argument for Derek in this pose, but me personally, I would give this pose to Hadi, so I would have it 4 poses to 2, but again, this is my opinion, and I can totally see how Derek could have won this pose.
You see the conditioning throughout. Overall, just the flow of the pose and the conditioning that gets brought out, especially through the midsection. I thought this was a clear pose for Hadi to make it 5 poses to 2.
And abdominal and thigh, a clear dominating victory for Hadi Choopan here. Easily the best abs in this lineup. I think Andrew Jack is a close second, but the abs here for Hadi are absolutely razor sharp. Derek, I think, has made some great improvements to this pose. His abs are popping a lot better, but they simply do not match Hadi's striations here, so I would definitely have this pose for Hadi. So for me, I'd have it 4 poses to 3.
See the striations and conditioning throughout the legs. And again, just the overall polish and flow of this pose. It's very hard to take it off Hadi, and I thought it was a clear pose for Hadi to make it 5 poses to 3.
And most muscular, I think it is a clear and dominant pose for Hadi as well. You see the conditioning of the abs, the chest. A big weakness for Derek is, he's a little bit softer. Right? I say a little bit. He looks kind of soft from the front here. So definitely Hadi is easily taking this pose. So for me, that makes it 4 to 4. Now, I did watch this show live, and at prejudging, I thought it was pretty clear that Derek was winning, but at finals, it certainly got a lot closer. And if I made a video talking about the scorecards and stuff, and Derek lost the finals, but it was still very close. So do I think Hadi Choopan was Hadi robbed? Do I think Hadi was robbed? No. When a robbery is when somebody loses and it's like it was ridiculous, like they weren't even comparable, this and that. This was a very, very close show. It could have literally went either way on the same panel with a different set of judges. Could have went the other way. Hadi could have won. And I know I see a lot of people bringing up politics and this and that. If politics were true that were preventing Hadi from winning, why is he already a Mr. Olympia champion? And I've seen people saying, oh, it's Mr. USA. If that's the case, why did Samson Dota win last year? So that argument does not hold true. Listen, I feel like the reason why people are like, oh, Hadi should have won this and that, or the majority of people want Hadi to win, is because in the ab and thigh and the most muscular, when you see those striations, that's very striking, and that's one of Derek's weaknesses. But in bodybuilding and stuff, you have to take everything into account. So, yeah, a lot of people thought Hadi should have won, but guess what? Just because you think he should have won doesn't mean he actually should have won. These judges at the table are trained judges. They know what they're doing. And again, it was close. Not all judges agreed with what I'm saying right now or what Tyler's saying. You see, I had it 4 poses to 4, but, Tyler had it 5 poses to 3 for Derek. So I think it was actually closer than what Tyler was saying. But again, that's okay. We all have different opinions, but it really pisses me off when people then go shit on Derek Lunsford. Like, he's getting so much hate and stuff like that, and I just think it's freaking ridiculous. Like, it's not his fault if the judges picked him to win, so why are you shitting on Derek? Like, it makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't know if people just don't like his physique or they don't like the person, because, I met him and he seemed like a really nice guy, willing to take pictures with me and stuff like that. So I just think this is really freaking stupid. It's I don't even know what to say. I think it's so dumb that he's getting all this hate when it was so close. It was a really close show. Could have went the other way. It's the same thing with Derek and Nick in Pittsburgh. People are saying robbery. That was so close. It was such a close show. So you can't call it a robbery when it's neck and neck, and, just because you think the other guy should have won or whatever, like, doesn't mean it's a robbery. If Urs won, no disrespect to Urs, but if Urs won the Mr. Olympia, that would have been a freaking robbery, because he was definitely not in that, top call out or whatever, just because he doesn't have the size yet. I think he could be a future Mr. Olympian if he just puts on more size, but that would have been a robbery, not a battle between first and second place, and it was like so close. Like, Derek wins pretty convincingly a good amount of poses. So I don't know. Like, to me, the side chest and the back double bicep were clear poses for Derek. Now, I think, Hadi had some clear poses too, but that's why it's a really close show. So I really don't like it that Derek's getting all this freaking hate, and I'm a Derek Lunsford fan, but it just doesn't make sense to me. I get people are pissed. They're cheering for the one they want to win, and they obviously like Hadi's physique and stuff, but you can't shit on Derek for that. And you can't shit on, the Olympia. It was a close call. It was a split decision. So not all judges saw it the same way. So no, it was not a robbery. Derek deserved the win. If Hadi would have won, Hadi would have deserved the win too. They were both very close. So that's my little ramble on this. That's what I think, and I think, at the finals, I do think Hadi was a little bit better than Derek overall at finals, but at prejudging, I thought Derek was quite a bit better than Hadi. So it kind of balances out. Could have gone either way. So let me know what you guys think about this. I know all you Hadi Chopin fans in the comments are gonna go bah 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 whatever. Derek sucks, this and that. You guys are ridiculous, man. I'm just being honest. But that's all I got for you guys today. Again, let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.